is 10 o'clock here in Chicago, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. And we are delighted to welcome you to the first of our webinar series, Love in Action. This session is being recorded, so those who are not able to be here now will be able to view it at a later time. The session today will last 1 hour. It will have 3 parts. After the introduction and the welcome by Sister Bridget Zanin from the National Shrine, there'll be a formal presentation with prayer by Lorraine Campanelli. There will be the option to chat or not chat, but use the question and answer box during the presentation for questions. At the end, Lorraine will entertain questions. And then after that, for those of you who would like, because this is a webinar, and unlike other meeting presentations where we normally have kind of the Brady Bunch grid where we can see everybody and hear everybody, that isn't available with the webinar. But at the end of the session, we will promote everyone from attendee to participant. You just have to say, yes, I want to be promoted. And then we will be able to both see you and hear you. And we will close the session with a little Cabrini conversation. So most people by this point are quite familiar with how a Zoom session works. You have your controls at the bottom. Everybody is at this point on mute. If you want to, at some point during question and answer, voice a question, I will invite you to unmute yourself. Your video is there, which right now is turned off because this is a webinar. There is a section kind of at the middle at the bottom that functions like chat, where if you have a question that you would like to ask during the session, you can put it in there. And then we'll deal with those at the end. But if you don't want to forget what you're asking, you can do that there. And during the question and answer, there's also a raise hand. You can raise your hand and I will allow you to speak. You'll have to unmute yourself. Again, we're delighted that you're here. We think we're going to learn some really wonderful things. And I'm going to hand it now to Sister Bridget to set the tone and welcome our presenter.
Thank you, Nancy. My name is Sister Bridget. I'm the director of the National Shrine of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini in Chicago. And on behalf of the National Shrine, the board, the sisters, and the staff, as well as the volunteer and Cabrini Retreat Center in collaboration with us, I wanted to welcome you to this wonderful webinar. I know you will enjoy this because this is just an overview of what we are doing for the immigrants. So Lorraine Campanelli is going to give you an overview of what she's doing in Dobbs Ferry, New York, and what more can we ask, but to show you the little that we are doing will take us a long way. This is love in action, as Mother Cabrini always say. Love must be active and true. And so here the love is in action and it's true. And we will show you this. Well, Lorraine will show you the slide of all what she's doing. So thank you very much for joining us. And what more can we ask you? But this is a real good time to really show our love for the immigrants, our brothers and sisters that are looking for refuge, and they are coming to us and they are coming to others. You are an extension of the Cabrini family. So those that are with us, we ask that you pray for them, that you be loving towards them, because anybody can be one of us as well. So thank you very, very much for attending, and we hope that you gain a lot of good action and a lot of good works, and see what we're really doing for immigrants. If all of us do a little bit each, it will come to make a big difference in the world. So thanks again. And if you have any questions, in the end, we will have a chat room. Is that what we have? And so you have a question for Lorraine. Lorraine, thank you so very much for being part of this webinar. We appreciate all the hard work you did to be able to present this to us today. Thanks again.
Thank you. And a special thank you to Sister Bridget and Nancy for the invitation. It's really an honor to be able to speak about what the services are at Immigrant Services in Dobbs Ferry. And a thank you to all of you for attending. Just take one moment just to ask our Lord to be with each of us as we open our hearts to the words and the works being done in Mother Cabrini's name. And we pray that, like Mother Cabrini, we may embrace and love all those who come to us as we show them God's love through our actions. Cabrini Immigrant Services is a storefront in the village of Dobbs Ferry. And just a very brief history, it was back in maybe 1997 that the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart asked all of their different institutions to look out their windows and see where the greatest need was. So in Dobbs Ferry, we have St. Cabrini Nursing Home. And when they looked out their windows, they saw that there was a large immigrant population in the village that needed assistance. And through planning and discussion, Cabrini Immigrant Services was opened in 1998. And the goal really is to help the immigrant become more comfortable in their neighborhoods, to become more informed, and to also be productive where they live. So again, we're a storefront. I'm the director, and we have Shirley Godoy, who's our administrative assistant, and we're the staff. It's just the two of us. And we do have social work intern who also helps us. We are part of Cabrini of Westchester. We're one of the outreach missions. And their mission is to focus on outreach to the community, which is what we are doing. But at the Immigrant Services, some of the tutors and students created their own somewhat of a mission statement. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but in the end, I think it's the important piece. Cabrini's philosophy is simple. Reach out to others, impact their lives, love them, and let them know they are okay the way they are. And I think that really encompasses what we do here at Immigrant Services. If they come here, they will be welcomed. There's no questions asked. Your status does not matter to us unless you want to become a citizen, and then you need to have the proper documentation. But all are welcomed, all are embraced as brother and sister. This is a map of somewhat of Westchester County where we are. And most of our clients do live in Dobbs Ferry, but we have what's called the river towns. These are all the towns along the water. So some of our clients are from Ardsley, Hastings-on-the-Hudson. These are all neighboring communities. And our clients are from the Caribbean, Central America, South America, the Middle East, Mexico, Africa, Asia, Europe. So we have a wide selection of different nationalities and people from different places. Our largest population that comes here and also lives in Dobbs Ferry, they're from Guatemala. That is the largest population we have. To date, now again, we opened in 1998. So to date, we've provided services to people from over 115 countries, which is wonderful and shows that it's so open and welcoming to the different people. Some of the things we do, we work with adults and we work with children. And for our adults, we do help them with English, their citizen exam preparation, literacy, writing, computers, and workshops. So our adult education, we don't have classes because what we found is everyone's at a different level. So we have some people that come to us that have had maybe 2 years of education in their country. And we have people that are here that have bachelor's and master's degree. So we work at everyone's level. So we just do one tutor and one student. We help them prepare for the citizenship exam. And these are some of our more recent citizens. And you can see the different countries that they are from. And we're really proud to say that we have 100% pass rate, which is really wonderful. And we have the tutors work with them. We have other people work with them so that they hear different voices, different accents, so that when they go to take their test, they are so prepared for the conversation, for the interview, for the questions. So we are so proud of all of them for becoming the citizens. We have educational workshops. Again, we're trying to make our parents as comfortable as they can be to have them be informed. So I will do the Know Your Rights workshop, which is if ICE comes to your home, what do? You know, how important that is to know what your rights are. We had someone come that had a nutrition grant, and they did Rethink Your Drink to try to help, like, you know, sometimes it's cheaper to get those sugary drinks, but the benefits and the things that are not beneficial to your child with all that sugar. We've done educational programs, you know, helping them get a routine for their child. And you can see, as Nancy called it, the Brady Bunch, the Zoom. Because of COVID, we couldn't have in-person classes, so we did a workshop with some of our moms. What was happening was, because of COVID, these kids were in school, out of school, in school, out of school. And then finally, they were back in school towards the end of the semester. And what we did is we helped them to create a corner in their apartment where when the child comes home, they need to do their homework. You know, they get a snack, they get changed, they could do their homework. And they loved it so much that we're now doing part 2 starting next week, hopefully in person. In October, we do a domestic violence and sexual assault program. We have our folders already for them. We do it in English and Spanish. Because within the immigrant population, there is certainly high numbers of domestic violence and sexual assault. And we want them to be aware. We want to educate them of their rights and what they can do and some safe places where they can go. Unfortunately, when it's a matter of status, if one spouse is a citizen and the other is not, sometimes that's another thing where the person is afraid to report the abuse. So that's why we like to give them the workshop and give them the information so they know what they can do to be safe. We like to work with everyone, helping them with their English and their literacy. You know, for a lot of our parents, they find it very difficult helping their children with their homework or helping them with just reading. So what we like to do is work with them to help them so they can help their children. So we have a program, it's called Enhancing Family Literacy. And we have a storyteller who comes and will tell the story, and everyone gets a copy of the book. Now, she does it in English so that they're improving their vocabulary. And if they have young children at home, they come, and we have an art teacher who will then do a project based on the book with them. So that's why you see some of the children doing some artwork. So they listen to the story first, the children will hear the story, and then the adults will stay and have a discussion of the book, and the children would go with the art teacher to do an art project. And our goal is that they will take that book home and read it or storytell to their family, again, just to reinforce the English. After our first year of that program, we had a very special celebration. After 1 year, you know, when we first started, no one really spoke English. So to have them learn English, learn to tell a story, it took that full year. And at the end of the year, we had a graduation ceremony, and you can see some of the Cabrini sisters are here. We invited some of the administration and board members from Cabrini of Westchester. And the students, the adult students, told one of the stories in English. And they were so proud of their accomplishment. Everyone was so proud. And we gave them a certificate. As you could see in their hands, you could see the amazing smiles. They felt so accomplished. For many of them, that's the first time, as they would say, the first time they ever graduated. But after we finished that year, they asked for more. They wanted more than just that. So we now do the literacy, which is the reading, we do writing, and we work with computers. Unfortunately, because of COVID, everything was put on hold, so hopefully we'll be starting again. But it was wonderful. We had one mom who said she always wanted to write a cookbook. And now she had the words she could put with it, she could write, and she could type it on the computer. And she actually started that, and then COVID hit. With the computers, we also help them with parent portal. Our schools are completely online. And for many, they didn't know how to get into the portal. So we would help them with that. And I remember when we got everyone in, one mom was so shocked. She said, my son is really smart. She hadn't seen his report card, and he was doing great work at school. So they felt so accomplished that now they're, again, comfortable with the school system. They feel like they could help their child with all of this. Again, we do other type of workshops and groups. We've had small groups for discussion. Usually our social work intern will do that. And there's a group with moms who painted pictures. And it was what it was like during COVID when they were home and the children were home. You know, to give them, they were able to come as a small group to our office. And, you know, what was their feelings going on? And as you can see in the pictures below, they were hoping for butterflies and to be able to go outside and things like that. But it was in the discussion that was helping them to kind of give us their feelings and their thoughts. We've had workshops to help parents with what do you do with your child? How do you prepare them for school? Then once they're in school, how do you help them? How do you become part of the school community? So we try to do different types of workshops. Another way we found that really helps to improve English is we have knitting and conversation class. And what it is they enjoy knitting. And I will be honest, I am not part of this group because my mother told me a long time ago when she tried to teach me to knit, she said, make sure you go to college and get a career because it's not in knitting. But they love to sit and talk to one another. And again, it's all in English. And they create, as you can see, they're wearing some of the things that they've made. Again, that feeling of accomplishment, the feeling that I actually did this, I made this, this is mine. And again, it's wonderful that there is a finished product, but there's a lot of conversation, and that's what we really want to get with them, is more talking, more socialization, more comfort being in a group. Another program that we have is my beautician comes once a month to cut the hair and dye, if that's what they want, the hair of some of our clients. Again, because of COVID, we haven't been able to do that. What we do is we use the beauty parlor at our nursing home. And they come, and Angela, who's the beautician, will cut their hair, do whatever they want. And you can see the smiles on their faces. For many, they have never been to a beauty parlor. You know, they can't afford it. And especially the children ones, they were amazed. One was like, my head is like, it's like on fire with bubbles. They were so excited that they actually had someone do their hair. So she does come once a month. It's free of charge. She had said to me she wants to give back, that she's been so blessed in life, and that's what she does. She comes every month to cut hair. We also help with social services. We help people to get benefits. We help them find housing. We help them find employment, and we also help them do resumes. Many times people do not have a resume, and we try to help them to create one for a few reasons. One, you're going to need it if you're applying for a job, but also it gives them that sense that they are somebody. When they walk out of the office with a resume, they feel that they really are important. And you know, very often they'll say, well, all I do is clean houses. Well, that's okay. That's not all you do. That is your employment. And to create a resume that shows that it's not just I clean houses, but that, you know, there's longevity in it and the different things that they do. We help with parenting. Sometimes there's some parenting issues, and we will help them with that. If someone comes in and wants to become a citizen, I do a pre-citizenship assessment to see, are they really ready to apply? You apply and you take the test and you fail, you've lost a lot of money. So we really want to make sure that they're ready. Is their English good enough that they can be part of the conversation? Can they read a bit? Can they write? Because that's all the things that they need for the test. And also, will they be able to study 100 questions? So that's what we do first. And if we feel they're ready, then we do refer them to the attorney's office. If we don't feel they're ready, then what we do is we work with them on their English or whatever section that they need some help with. Once they start the process, then we again work with them. We prepare them for the test. We go over the questions. We go over the interview with them. We do referrals. We can refer either legal referrals, or sometimes we will refer out for a benefit that we may not be able to help them with, but we will get them the place. We've done referrals for safe houses for people that have been abused, and referrals to different colleges, things like that. And as I mentioned, we help them with the parent portal. That is such an important piece for a parent to be part of the school community and to be able to know what their child is doing in school. We also work with children. Basically, it's from grades kindergarten to 7th that we work with. We do have an after-school homework program that will be starting again. We have a program with Mercy College, which is here in Dobbs Ferry. We have a STARS program, which is storytelling, art, reading, and socialization. We do paint and punch because we can't do paint and wine like they do as adults, so we do paint and punch. We do a giving back program, and we also have trips for our children. So our after-school program is 3 days a week, and they come for an hour, and we help them to do their homework. I have some high school volunteers that will come and work with them. Again, part of the issue is when they go home, the parents very often cannot help them with their homework. So for these 3 days that they come, they know when they go to school the next day, their homework is done. They're not going to get in trouble for not having it done. But I have to admit, thank God we have the high school students, because I am a teacher, but when it comes to the new math, I always say to them, I could tell you the right answer, but I can't tell you how to get there. So the program is really great. And with COVID and not having a program, everyone realized how important it is, because the children were struggling. Fortunately, I was able to get them connected to an online homework program through Iona College. So during COVID, some of them were able to do that. Mercy College, we have many connections with Mercy College, but one of them is their literacy program. And these are graduate students that take a class in the summer. And they've chosen Cabrini Immigrant Services to be somewhat of like their student teaching. And they come here 3 afternoons a week. They go to class in the morning and then they come here. And they work with our students, helping them with their reading, trying to teach them different skills that will help them, giving them different cues. Like if you hear this when you're reading, this is what it means. To learn things like what comes first, what comes next. So it's a win-win. Our children are being helped, and then they're doing their student teaching in the summer here. So it's been a wonderful program. This is our Stars for Kids. And again, a wonderful program. We have 2 classes. We do kindergarten through 4th, and then we do 5 through 6. And now because of COVID, we're losing a year, we're moving it up to 7th grade. And our storyteller tells the story. And then we have a discussion. You know, for the young, and the books always have good morals, strong characters, and we talk about that. And the children each get a copy of the book that's being read that day. And then after the discussion, they go with the art teacher and they create an art project based on the book. Now, for our little children, you know, it's talking about bullying, you know, on their level. You know, you have to be nice to one another. You're supposed to love one another. With the older group, it's a wonderful conversation because they really share different things that happen. You know, what is it like to be an immigrant in a school? You know, what's it like to speak with an accent? And they get very deep, and it's really beautiful to be able to share with them and kind of not solve their problems, but understand their problems and see, is there something we can do? And also teaching, you know, you don't like this to be done. And that's why we say everyone should be kind. Just be kind to one another, accept one another. So this is a wonderful program. The children like it. We had done a story based on names. It was the naming jar. And everyone made a poster with their name on it. It was out of felt. So that's what you see the little kids holding up. Again, lots of smiles. They love it. We do a giving back program 3 times a year. I had received a grant for this. And what the giving back program is to have our children understand that no matter what your economic level is, we can always give back. So again, through a grant, I'm able to purchase toiletries. So we pick a not-for-profit in Westchester County, and we send them 100 packets of toiletries. Now, in the pictures here, this was a really great program. The boys on the top left, they were high school students who lived in Mayapack. They needed community service. If you look to the right, there's some of the sisters from Sacred Heart in New York City. They didn't need community service, but we wanted to get them involved. God knows they do enough service. So the boys up in Mayapack made 100 sandwiches. The sisters in the city made 100 snack packs. And then here at Immigrant Services, our kids made 100 packets of toiletries. And then it all came together. And it was wonderful. And that time we gave to Midnight Run. So we had the sandwiches and the snacks for Midnight Run, and then 100 packets of toiletries. The kids love to do this, and we have them make cards that we put in the packets. They could say things like, stay strong, you're loved, God loves you. And they get very involved in it. And then we teach them about the organization and the importance that we give back. So next month we will be doing one with the children, and it's going to the pantry in Verplank, which is around the Peekskill area in New York. And it's a pantry that not only has food, but they help many of the single moms there. So our packets will be going to them. We have a Jumpstart program, and this we have usually in August. It's for incoming kindergarten students to meet their teachers, and then their parents also come, and then they get to learn about our services here at Immigrant Services. So we just had the program in August, and that's one of the kindergarten teachers on the floor, and she was telling a story, and it's for them to also see at what level the child is out. Does the child show signs that they need help in math or reading? Just kind of gives them a head start. They talk to the parents about what to expect during the year, what their expectations are, and also what the parents' needs are. Through a grant, I'm able to give them school supplies. You can see the backpacks and different supplies. The parents are so relieved when they see the supplies. I don't have to tell anyone how expensive everything is, so it really does help them. And then at the end, I talk about our services for both the children and for the adults here at Immigrant Services. I had mentioned that we take our children on trips. Some of the places we've gone was to the Intrepid in the city. We've gone to Ellis Island. We've gone to the Statue of Liberty. We've gone to the Museum of Natural History. Locally, we have a place, a Greenberg Nature Center that we've gone to. The kids really enjoyed it. It was all the old-fashioned toys, as you can see in the bottom right-hand side. So we do a lot of different trips. We try to do one educational, and then we do one fun trip. One of the things we do that's not so much of a trip, but we go to the nursing home for a barbecue. And the kids love it. Again, a lot of times they can't have barbecues. They're not in places where they have a yard. They just rent their apartment. And we play different games, and the food services at the nursing home does all the cooking for them. It's just wonderful. And the residents love to see the children. I mean, we always say children and pets are the 2 favorites at the nursing home. I have a friend that I could visit her 100 times, but if a child walks in, it's like, oh, Lorraine, you're here, move on. So it's a win-win for us. We are literally down the street from our nursing home. So we're able to do a lot of things together, which is great. Another thing we try to instill in our children is respect and acceptance. They want to be respected, they want to be accepted, they want to be understood. So we find different ways to help them because they are our future. So one of the things we did is we had presentations about Easter, Passover, and Ramadan. These are the 3 holidays that people in Immigrant Services celebrate. And so we talked about each different celebration, and we had them do a project for each of them. So for Easter, as you can see, they were coloring Easter eggs. For Passover, we had them with the matzahs, and they were learning, why was the matzah flat, things like that. And then for Ramadan, they made jars that had light in it. Every time they would do something positive, something good, they would turn that light on. And it really helped because even for myself, I know of Easter, I know a bit about Passover, I've learned about Ramadan, but to have the understanding and to see how we're all the same. We may not do the same things, but we are all the same. It's helping them to accept someone who's different, to respect the different nationalities, the different religions, and to understand. If you can understand, I think then you can accept and respect. We also did a project with our kids on American holidays. Since they're living in America, we want them to know about the country. For many of their parents are becoming citizens or hope to become citizens. But we had a discussion about what is America and who is America. And it was getting the idea across that we're all Americans. We're here in this country. So again, our teacher worked with them. They made this flag, and it was really made out of paper and crepe paper, construction paper, whatever. And the kids had to cut out all the stars. And then they painted the stripes. And if you could see in the lower right-hand corner, I don't know if you could really see, there's little circles. And what those circles are the pictures of the kids who made the flag. But we also had them go through magazines and cut out people that would remind them that they're American. And so we have faces of all different colors, shapes, sizes, looks, and that is what makes America. And we actually have a plaque next to it where we asked the children to describe what this project was. And it was all about how we're all the same. We should love one another, be respectful, and to accept one another because we make up the country. So again, they're fun projects, but there's really more to it. It's really the lesson behind it. And you can't help but think about Mother Cabrini, love in action. And that's what this is. And we hope from this action, they will take that love out and spread the action again through the love. Another blessing we have is that where we're located, we are by many of our senator, the town supervisor, and they have come here to Immigrant Services. The town supervisor, Paul Feiner, I wasn't here that long, and he came to visit, and then he invited me to be on his radio show to talk about immigration. State Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, her New York office is in Yonkers, very close to here. She's been here. And also, we were asked if we would like masks for our clients. So we received a donation, as you can see with Senator Stewart-Cousins, we received 500 masks that were washable so that they could be used over and over again because everyone was asked to have a mask. Where do you get them? So she made sure that all of our clients had access to masks. County Executive George Latimer came. He visited while the children were here. And he had a great time with the kids. Some of them are born here in America and some of them were immigrants. So he was very engaged with them, asking them different questions and, to tell them about their country that they're from if they weren't from here. And the kids loved it. He was like a superstar to them. They were so excited that he came. And we were very fortunate with the county executive's address. We had been invited to go to listen to it in person. So those are some of our clients and one of my social work interns that were invited to go over. So it was really very exciting to go over to the executive office and to be able to listen to the address in person. I'm just hoping all of this will come back now that COVID is hopefully nearing its end. Some of the other things that we do is we have prayer vigils that we attend. We go to peace rallies. I had attended a rally against hate at one of our local synagogues. I was also part of the steering committee for the driver's licenses for all, to really advocate on behalf of our clients. And if you're not familiar with that, it was that in New York, the only way you can get a driver's license is if you had a social security number. And that happened after 9/11. So that eliminated anyone who wasn't documented. And the reality was that these people were driving. Many of them were taxi drivers. That's all they can do. So it was a long haul, but we finally were able to get driver's licenses for all. They don't ask for the social security numbers anymore. So you don't have to be documented. You just have to pass the test and then you would receive it. And again, I was on the radio show with our town supervisor, just explaining what we do at Immigrant Services. During COVID, because of the New York State pause order, we had to close our office as we were a small business, but we were still able to help our clients. So as I mentioned, we were able to give out the masks. For our students, because some of them were graduating, they had drive-by sessions. So I would go there just to support them that way. Especially those that were like moving up from elementary school to middle school. They were so disappointed they didn't have their ceremony, so we did something outdoors for them. Cabrini Immigrant Services was again blessed. There was a program through the Chamber of Commerce and the Westchester government, and they were giving out vouchers for restaurants. And they asked if we would want to be part of the the section that received them. So it was wonderful. It was like a win-win because a lot of the restaurants were hurting and a lot of the families were hurting. So what they did, we've done this 3 times, is they would get gift cards to different restaurants in the area. The first time we did it, everyone in the family got $25. So if there was 5 members, they received $125 to use at the restaurant. The second and third time, it went up to $50 for each person in the family. And it was so great because they would go and pick up the food and they would have so much they could save it. So it was a big help to them to be able to have those meals with their families. Also through a grant, Cabrini was able to give food cards to our local Stop and Shop. So we were giving $100 for 6 months. And again, what a blessing that was, that we had the grants. And what a relief it was for our families. One of the things we did during COVID was to have Zoom meetings, as you see in the lower left-hand side. That was one of our workshops, helping them to adjust to now the children are back in school. What do we do now? And another blessing is we received a grant for rent relief and a donation for utility assistance and rent relief. So we were able to help quite a few families with some of their rents. It's hard to believe how much people fell behind because they lost their jobs and they weren't able to pay their rent or their utilities or cell phones. So we were able to help quite a few families. And again, that's love in action, where we were able to help them. And then it's, what can we do? And I try to stay abreast of what's going on, but, to go on these different websites to see what is happening, to send the email to the Congress or the senators, to make that call. If you don't agree with something that's going on, to let that be known. There's so much going on right now, with immigration. We had, and in the past, the separation of the children from their parents. Some of those children came to Dobbs Ferry. What can we do to help that situation? And now, we're going to be dealing with all those that came from Afghanistan as refugees, to get them the status. What can we do to help them? But to just really stay aware of what's going on, and how can I help? Our Catholic bishops are certainly very well involved in immigration. They post a lot of information, a lot of documents to see what they're saying about it. Ignatian, the Jesuits Network is a wonderful organization. I was recently on a meeting with them, and we met with Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand from New York, and we were able to share what we would like them to support as far as immigrants. And they were both very receptive. Senator Gillibrand had a member of her office join us, but Senator Schumer joined us in person. And I was asked to be a part of a group of immigrant services in the area that are sponsored by Catholic sisters. So I was there to represent the Cabrini sisters. So it was a great experience. There's really so much that can be done and that we need to do. We really do. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. I tried to be mindful of time. Hopefully I didn't go over the time.
Lorraine, thank you so much. You really just gave us such a wonderful overview of
thank you.
everything. There are no questions in the chat, and it's a